Hey folks, welcome back to Stoic Quotes 365. Let me ask you, have you ever wondered what truly makes someone fall deeply in love? Not just the fleeting attraction or the surface-level admiration, but the kind of love where they can't stop thinking about you, where they genuinely respect and treasure you for who you are. It's not about playing games or pretending to be someone you're not. The truth is, real connection comes from understanding some fundamental principles about human behavior and relationships. Here's the catch. Falling in love isn't something you can force. But you can cultivate behaviors and attitudes that make you irresistible, not because you're manipulating anyone, but because you're radiating confidence, self-worth, and emotional depth. The kind of traits that naturally draw people in and make them realize you're someone truly special. That's what this video is all about. Today, we're diving into the 7 powerful acts that make someone fall madly in love with you. These aren't just romantic cliches or outdated dating advice. They're grounded in psychology, human connection, and yes, even a bit of Stoic philosophy. These are strategies that don't just create attraction, they foster genuine respect and admiration. Because here's the thing, without respect, love doesn't last. But when someone respects you deeply, love has the space to flourish. So, why does this matter? In relationships, it's easy to fall into habits that might feel natural, but actually push people away. Maybe you're over-investing too soon, giving all your time and energy before someone's earned it. Or maybe you're afraid to set boundaries because you worry they'll leave. But what if I told you that the very things you're afraid to do, like stepping back, valuing yourself, or setting boundaries, are the keys to making someone see your true worth? Let me give you an example. Think about someone you admire deeply, whether it's a friend, a partner, or even a public figure. What is it about them that draws you in? Chances are, it's not just their looks or charisma. It's their energy, their sense of purpose, and the way they carry themselves. They don't chase validation or try to prove their worth. They simply know it. That's the kind of energy we're talking about today. The energy that makes someone look at you and think, I can't let this person go. Here's where Stoicism comes into play. The Stoics believed that self-mastery is the foundation of a good life, and that extends to relationships. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." In other words, don't focus on trying to impress someone. Focus on being the best version of yourself. When you embody self-respect, emotional independence, and confidence, you don't just attract people, you attract the right people. This video isn't about tricks or manipulation. It's about empowering you to show up as your most authentic, magnetic self. Whether you're in a new relationship, navigating the complexities of long-term love, or even just putting yourself out there again, these 7 acts will help you create deeper connections and build relationships that are rooted in mutual respect and admiration. And let me tell you, these aren't just theoretical ideas. Each one of these acts is something you can start practicing today. You'll not only see changes in how others respond to you, but also in how you feel about yourself. Because the real secret to making someone fall in love with you, it starts with loving and valuing yourself first. So, stick with me here, because what you're about to learn could transform the way you approach relationships forever. Ready to dive in? Let's explore these 7 powerful acts that will have them begging to be a part of your life. Let's get started. Number 1. Be comfortable walking away. Hey folks, let's dive straight into one of the most counterintuitive yet powerful acts that can make someone truly fall for you. Being comfortable walking away. Now, I know this might sound a bit bold or even harsh, but hear me out. This isn't about playing games or being manipulative. It's about respecting yourself enough to value your own peace and boundaries over the need for constant validation. Think about it. In any relationship, whether romantic or otherwise, the balance of power often tips in favor of the one who values themselves more. Why? Because when you demonstrate that you're not afraid to walk away from situations or people that don't align with your worth, you immediately command respect. And respect, that's the cornerstone of deep, lasting love. Let me share a scenario with you. Imagine you're dating someone who constantly keeps you waiting, whether it's replying to texts, making plans, or showing any real commitment. You might feel tempted to hang on, thinking that if you just wait long enough, they'll finally see your value. But here's the truth. The more you tolerate disrespect, the less likely they are to change their behavior. People don't respect what they can take for granted. Now, picture this instead. You recognize the signs that their actions aren't matching their words. Rather than begging for attention or sticking around out of fear, you politely but firmly express your feelings, then step back, not with anger or drama, but with calm certainty. This act of stepping away sends a powerful message. I value myself, and I won't settle for less than I deserve. And trust me, that kind of confidence is magnetic. Walking away isn't about creating distance for the sake of it. It's about recognizing when a situation no longer serves you and choosing yourself. It doesn't mean you don't care about the other person. It means you care about yourself enough to prioritize your well-being. When you do this, you become someone who isn't just wanted but deeply admired. Here's where Stoicism plays a role. The Stoics believed in focusing on what you can control, your own actions, emotions, and boundaries, while letting go of what's outside your control, like other people's responses. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Walking away is a perfect embodiment of this principle. You're choosing strength over attachment to an outcome. But let's make it practical. How do you cultivate the courage to walk away? First, remind yourself that your worth isn't tied to someone else's approval. You're not losing anything by stepping back. You're gaining clarity and self-respect. Second, don't view walking away as a permanent act of cutting ties. It's a way to create space for both you and the other person to reflect. And third, focus on the bigger picture. If someone truly values you, they'll respect your boundaries and take action to meet you where you are. I know this can feel daunting, especially if you're someone who naturally gives a lot in relationships. You might worry that walking away means risking the connection entirely. But here's the thing. When you walk away for the right reasons, you're not pushing love away. You're inviting the right kind of love in. You're showing that you're not just there to fill someone else's void. You're there as a whole, valuable individual. So, let me ask you, are you ready to embrace the strength that comes from being okay with walking away? If this resonates with you, drop a quick "I deserve better" in the comments below. It's a simple yet powerful affirmation of your self-worth. And if you're finding value in this, don't forget to hit subscribe for more insights on building meaningful connections. Walking away isn't about giving up. It's about standing tall in your own value. And when you do that, you don't just make them see your worth, you make them feel it. Trust me, that's where real love begins. Number 2, value your attention. All right, folks, let's talk about one of the most underrated yet incredibly powerful aspects of attraction, the value of your attention. We often think that giving someone all of our time and energy is the best way to show we care. But here's the twist. When your attention is too freely available, it loses its value. And in the world of relationships, perceived value is everything. Imagine for a second that your attention is like a rare gem. If you hand it out to everyone without thought or purpose, it's like tossing diamonds into the street. People might admire it for a second, but they won't treat it with care or respect. Now, imagine keeping that gem protected, sharing it only with those who truly appreciate its worth. Suddenly, it becomes something people treasure. Here's the reality. When you're selective about where you focus your attention, you send a powerful message that your time, energy, and presence are valuable. You're saying, I'm not here to entertain or chase approval. I'm here to build meaningful connections with people who respect and value me in return. So, how does this play out in a relationship? Let's take a classic scenario, texting. Have you ever felt the urge to reply instantly to someone, even when you're busy or not in the mood? It's a natural instinct, but over time, it can create a dynamic where your availability is taken for granted. On the other hand, if you respond thoughtfully and on your terms, it shows that your time isn't something anyone can demand. It's something you choose to share. But valuing your attention isn't just about withholding it. It's about giving it intentionally. When you're present, be fully present. Whether it's a date, a conversation, or even a shared moment of silence, make it count. People notice when your attention feels genuine versus when it's scattered or half-hearted. This kind of focused attention is incredibly attractive. It makes the other person feel seen and valued, and in turn, they value you more. Here's where Stoic philosophy ties in beautifully. The Stoics emphasize the importance of directing your energy toward what truly matters. Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." In the context of attention, this means not scattering your focus across countless distractions, but instead investing it in the people and moments that align with your values. Now, let's get real. How do you start valuing your attention more? First, get clear on what truly matters to you in a relationship. What qualities or actions deserve your time and focus? Once you know this, it becomes easier to filter out the noise. Second, practice mindfulness. When you're with someone, put the phone away, turn off distractions, and be fully engaged. Quality always trumps quantity. And third, don't be afraid to say no. Whether it's turning down an invite or stepping back from a one-sided connection, your ability to prioritize your time shows self-respect. Here's a quick story to bring this home. A friend of mine, Sarah, used to bend over backward for every guy she dated, always texting first, always rearranging her schedule to make things work. And you know what? They rarely appreciated her efforts, but when she started valuing her attention, being more selective about how she spent her time, and showing up fully when she chose to, it changed everything. Suddenly, the men she dated began pursuing her more, because they could feel that her time and energy were precious. She wasn't playing hard to get. She was simply living with intention. So, let me ask you, how much do you value your attention? If you're ready to treat it like the treasure it is, comment "My time matters" below. It's a small but powerful step toward owning your worth. And hey, if this resonates with you, hit subscribe to keep diving into the art of building meaningful connections. Remember, your attention isn't something you owe. It's a gift you give. And when you value it, so will everyone else. Trust me, that's when the magic truly begins. Number 3, emotional independence. Hey folks, let's dive into something truly transformative. Emotional independence. This isn't just a buzzword. It's the foundation for healthy relationships and, frankly, a more fulfilling life. When you're emotionally independent, you're not clinging to someone else for validation, happiness, or stability. Instead, you're a solid, self-sufficient force. And trust me, nothing is more attractive than that. Let's start with what emotional independence really means. It's about owning your emotions and recognizing that you are responsible for your own happiness. You're not placing that responsibility on a partner, a friend, or anyone else. Now, this doesn't mean shutting people out or avoiding vulnerability. On the contrary, it means you can connect deeply with others without losing yourself in the process. Picture this. You're dating someone, and things are going well until one day they're too busy to call or seem a bit distant. If you're emotionally dependent, this might spiral into self-doubt or anxiety. You might overanalyze, wondering if you've done something wrong. But if you're emotionally independent, you see it for what it is. A busy day, not a reflection of your worth. You stay grounded because your sense of self isn't tied to someone else's actions or attention. This independence doesn't just protect you from unnecessary emotional turbulence, it also makes you incredibly attractive. Why? Because people are drawn to those who exude confidence and stability. When you're not desperately seeking someone's approval, it creates an air of calm strength that others can't help but admire. You become someone they want to be around. Not because you need them, but because you choose to share your life with them. Now, here's the tricky part. How do you cultivate emotional independence? Start by building a life you love outside of any relationship. Find hobbies, passions, and goals that light you up. This gives you a strong sense of identity that doesn't rely on anyone else. Next, practice self-awareness. Notice when you're looking to others for validation and ask yourself, why do I need this? What can I do to give it to myself instead? Finally, learn to set boundaries, not just with others, but with yourself. If you catch yourself spiraling into overthinking or over-reliance, gently redirect your focus back to your own growth and well-being. Let me share a story. My friend James was once in a relationship where he constantly sought reassurance. He'd overthink every text, every interaction, and it started driving a wedge between him and his partner. When they broke up, he realized he'd lost touch with who he was outside of the relationship. So, he made a commitment to himself. He joined a hiking group, started learning guitar, and even took solo trips to rebuild his sense of independence. Over time, he noticed a shift. When he began dating again, he was no longer seeking someone to complete him. He was simply sharing his already fulfilling life. The result? His relationships became healthier, and he attracted people who respected and valued his independence. Here's a Stoic insight that ties perfectly into this. Epictetus taught, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Emotional independence is about mastering yourself, your emotions, your reactions, and your happiness. It's not about shutting people out, but embracing the freedom to love and connect without becoming emotionally entangled. So, let me challenge you. Take a moment to reflect on your own emotional independence. Are there areas where you rely too much on others for validation? If so, comment "I own my emotions" below to affirm your commitment to growth. And if this message resonates with you, don't forget to subscribe for more insights on creating relationships built on strength and authenticity. Remember, emotional independence isn't just a relationship hack, it's a life philosophy. When you find happiness within yourself, you bring something extraordinary to the table, a love that's rooted in choice, not need. And that, my friends, is the kind of love that lasts. Number 4, give them space to chase. All right, folks, let's talk about one of the most counterintuitive yet powerful dynamics in relationships. Giving someone the space to chase you. It might sound odd at first, but here's the truth. Creating a little space isn't about playing games. It's about fostering genuine connection and attraction. When you're constantly available, texting every hour, or trying to anticipate their every need, something subtle happens. Instead of building a stronger connection, it can feel overwhelming or even suffocating to the other person. They might begin to take your presence for granted, not because they don't care, but because you've left no room for them to miss you. And missing someone is essential. It reminds them how much they value your presence. Let's take a simple analogy. Imagine a beautiful garden. If you water it every single hour of the day, what happens? The soil becomes oversaturated, and the plants don't thrive. But when you water it thoughtfully, giving it the right amount at the right time, the garden blooms. Relationships work the same way. Space allows feelings to grow, appreciation to deepen, and interest to stay alive. So, how do you create this space in a way that feels natural and authentic? First, focus on your own life. Engage in activities you love, spend time with friends, and pursue your goals. Not only does this make you happier and more fulfilled, but it also signals to the other person that you're someone with a rich, vibrant life. People are naturally drawn to those who are independent and passionate about their own interests. Second, don't rush to fill every silence or respond to every text immediately. Take a moment to breathe and let things flow naturally. When you give them a little time and space, you're allowing them to process their own feelings and make the effort to connect with you. Here's where the Stoic mindset can really shine. The Stoics believed in focusing on what you can control: your actions, your emotions, and your responses. You can't force someone to chase you or make them care more by overwhelming them with attention. What you can do is be a person of value, someone who respects their own boundaries and time. When you do that, people naturally gravitate toward you. Let me share a story that illustrates this perfectly. My friend Jenna had a habit of always being the first to reach out to her boyfriend. She'd plan every date, initiate every conversation, and even rearrange her schedule to accommodate him. Over time, she noticed he was pulling away, not because he didn't care, but because she left no room for him to step up. After some reflection, Jenna decided to shift her approach. She focused on her hobbies, joined a yoga class, and spent more time with her friends. The change was remarkable. Her boyfriend started planning dates, texting her more often, and even surprising her with thoughtful gestures. By giving him space to chase, she allowed him to show his appreciation and effort. This doesn't mean pulling away completely or playing hard to get. It's about striking a balance, being present and engaged, while also allowing the other person to contribute and pursue. This dynamic creates a sense of mutual respect and effort that strengthens the relationship. So, here's your challenge. Take a moment to reflect on how much space you're giving in your relationships. Are you creating an environment where the other person has room to chase you, or are you doing all the chasing? If this resonates with you, comment "room to grow" below to affirm your commitment to a balanced connection. And hey, if this insight sparks something in you, hit that subscribe button. Let's keep exploring how to build relationships that thrive on mutual respect and genuine attraction. Remember, giving space isn't about pulling away. It's about inviting someone to step closer. When you create that room, you're not just nurturing the relationship. You're cultivating a dynamic that allows love and appreciation to flourish. And trust me, when someone starts to chase you, it's a powerful affirmation of your worth. Number 5. Celebrate your own life. Hey folks, let's talk about something truly transformative: celebrating your own life. If there's one thing that draws people toward you like a magnet, it's your ability to live a vibrant, fulfilling life that isn't solely centered around anyone else. It's about creating a world for yourself that others can't help but want to be a part of. When you celebrate your own life, you're sending a powerful message: I am enough. This isn't about arrogance or self-centeredness. It's about living with joy, pursuing your passions, and appreciating every moment for what it is. And here's the beautiful part. When you do this, you naturally inspire others to see your value and want to share in that energy. So, what does it mean to truly celebrate your own life? Let's break it down. First, it's about prioritizing what makes you happy. Think about the things that light you up, whether it's traveling, painting, starting a new project, or simply spending time with loved ones. These are the moments that make life rich, and when you embrace them fully, you radiate an energy that's irresistible. Second, celebrating your own life means setting goals and striving for them, not to impress others, but to fulfill yourself. When you're actively working towards something that matters to you, it shows. It gives you a sense of purpose and confidence that others can't help but admire. People are drawn to those who are driven and passionate because it's a sign of independence and self-assuredness. Let me share a quick story. My friend Ava was once in a relationship where she constantly put her own interests on hold to accommodate her partner. She thought sacrificing her own happiness would strengthen the bond. But over time, she realized she was losing touch with who she was. So, she made a bold decision. She picked up her old hobby of photography, started volunteering, and even planned a solo trip to explore a city she'd always dreamed of visiting. The result? Not only did she feel more alive and fulfilled, but her partner also began to see her in a new light. Her independence and zest for life reignited their connection. Now, you might wonder, how does this relate to attracting and keeping someone's love? The truth is, people are drawn to those who are comfortable in their own skin. When you celebrate your own life, you're showing that you don't need someone to complete you. You choose to share your completeness with them. That distinction is what makes all the difference. Stoic philosophy has a profound insight here. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." When you focus on gratitude, growth, and the joys in your life, you elevate not just your own experience, but also how others perceive you. It's a way of living that says, "I am at peace with myself." And that peace is contagious? Here's a practical way to start celebrating your life today. Make a list of things you've always wanted to try or goals you've put on hold. Pick one and take the first step toward it. Maybe it's signing up for a class, booking that trip, or simply dedicating an hour a day to a hobby you love. And don't forget to share these moments, not in a boastful way, but as a genuine expression of your joy. People are drawn to authenticity, and when they see you thriving, they'll want to be part of that story. So, here's a challenge for you. What's one thing you can do this week to celebrate your own life? Comment below with "Living my best life" to commit to embracing this mindset. And hey, if this resonates with you, don't forget to subscribe for more insights on building stronger, more meaningful connections. Remember, celebrating your own life isn't just about attracting others. It's about honoring yourself. When you live fully, you're not only enriching your own journey, but also inspiring those around you. And in the process, you create a love that's built on mutual respect, admiration, and genuine connection. That, my friends, is the kind of love that lasts. Number 6. Set boundaries and keep them. Hey folks, let's dive into a topic that often feels tricky, but is absolutely essential in any relationship. Setting boundaries and, more importantly, sticking to them. Whether it's with a romantic partner, a close friend, or even family, clear boundaries aren't just a form of self-protection. They're a cornerstone of mutual respect and healthy connections. Now, let's address something many of us struggle with. Have you ever found yourself agreeing to something you didn't want to do because you were afraid of saying no? Or letting someone's behavior slide because you didn't want to make things awkward? It happens to the best of us. But here's the hard truth. Without boundaries, you're essentially telling people that it's okay to take advantage of your time, energy, or emotions, and over time, this can erode your self-respect and the respect others have for you. Setting boundaries starts with clarity. You need to know what your limits are before you can communicate them. Think about the areas in your life where you feel stretched too thin or taken for granted. Is it your time, your emotional energy, or your personal space? Once you identify these areas, it becomes easier to establish boundaries that align with your values. Here's a crucial point. Boundaries aren't just about keeping people out. They're about letting the right people in under the right conditions. When you set boundaries, you're creating a structure where both you and the people in your life can thrive. You're saying, "This is what I need to feel respected and valued, and I'll respect what you need in return." Now, here's the second step, and it's where many people falter: keeping those boundaries. It's one thing to declare your limits. It's another to enforce them, especially when someone tests you. And trust me, they will. People often push boundaries not out of malice, but because they're used to a certain dynamic. It's your job to stay firm, even when it feels uncomfortable. Let's bring this to life with an example. Imagine you're in a relationship where your partner frequently expects you to drop everything to accommodate their schedule. At first, you might go along with it, thinking you're being supportive. But over time, you start to feel resentful because your needs are consistently sidelined. The boundary here might be, "I'm happy to be flexible sometimes, but I also need my plans and priorities to be respected." When you communicate this boundary, it's important to be clear and calm. Avoid accusations like, "You never consider my time." Instead, frame it positively. "I value our time together, and I also need to stick to my commitments. Let's find a way that works for both of us." Notice how this approach invites collaboration rather than conflict. But let's be honest, setting and maintaining boundaries isn't always smooth sailing. There will be pushback, especially from people who are used to you bending over backward for them. They might accuse you of being selfish or unkind. Here's the thing. Sticking to your boundaries isn't selfish. It's self-respect. You're teaching others how to treat you by how you treat yourself. Stoic philosophy offers timeless wisdom here. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This principle reminds us that we can't control how others react to our boundaries, but we can control how we uphold them. Staying calm and consistent, even in the face of resistance, shows strength and self-assurance. Let's not forget the ripple effect of boundaries on attraction. In relationships, whether romantic or otherwise, boundaries signal confidence. They show that you value yourself enough to demand respect. And that's magnetic. People are drawn to those who stand firm in their values because it demonstrates emotional maturity and independence. Here's a practical tip to get started. Write down your non-negotiables. These are the areas where you're unwilling to compromise because they're essential to your well-being. It could be as simple as needing alone time to recharge, or as significant as refusing to tolerate disrespectful language. Once you have your list, practice communicating these boundaries in low-pressure situations so you're ready when bigger challenges arise. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What's one boundary you've set or want to set that's made a difference in your life? Share your thoughts in the comments with the phrase, "Respect my space," to affirm your commitment to self-respect. And before we move on, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more insights on creating relationships rooted in respect and balance. Remember, boundaries aren't barriers. They're bridges to deeper, more meaningful connections. Number 7, embrace mystery. Let's talk about mystery, the kind that keeps people intrigued, captivated, and longing to understand you better. In a world where oversharing is almost the norm, mastering the art of embracing mystery can set you apart in the most magnetic way. Think about it. The people who leave the strongest impressions are often the ones who don't reveal everything all at once. When it comes to relationships, whether romantic or platonic, maintaining an air of mystery is a game changer. It's not about playing games or being manipulative. It's about preserving your individuality and leaving room for curiosity. When you're an open book, it's easy for others to feel like they've figured you out entirely. But when there's a layer of intrigue, people naturally want to dig deeper. Mystery starts with subtlety. You don't need to share every thought, feeling, or experience the moment it happens. For example, if you've had an amazing day, instead of narrating every detail, share just enough to spark curiosity. Instead of saying, "I went to this great event, and here's everything that happened," you could say, "Today was really exciting. It reminded me why I love trying new things." Notice how this leaves the door open for someone to ask questions, to engage with you on a deeper level. But mystery isn't just about what you say. It's also about what you do. Your actions can create a sense of intrigue that words alone cannot. For instance, pursue hobbies or passions that genuinely excite you, even if they don't directly involve the other person. When you invest in yourself, you naturally become more interesting and multidimensional. People will want to know what drives you, what excites you, and how you're able to maintain such a dynamic life. One of the most compelling aspects of mystery is the element of surprise. Every now and then, let people see a side of you they didn't expect. Maybe you're usually reserved, but you surprise them with your wit during a group conversation, or perhaps you're known for being logical. But you show your creative side through a thoughtful gesture. These moments of surprise keep relationships fresh and remind people that there's always more to discover about you. However, mystery isn't about withholding affection or being intentionally vague. It's about balance. Share enough to connect, but not so much that there's nothing left to learn. This balance is especially powerful in romantic relationships. When you embrace mystery, you're signaling confidence. You're showing that you're comfortable being yourself without needing constant validation. Here's an example. Imagine you're on a date, and the other person asks about your future goals. Instead of laying out a 5-year plan in detail, you could say something like, "I have some big dreams, but I like to keep them close for now. I've learned that sharing too much too soon can sometimes take away the magic of seeing them unfold." This not only piques their interest, but also subtly communicates that you're thoughtful and intentional. Let's tie this back to Stoic philosophy. The Stoics often emphasize the importance of self-control and inner strength. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." In the context of mystery, this reminds us to focus less on explaining ourselves and more on simply living in a way that reflects our values. Let your actions and the quiet confidence behind them speak for themselves. Another aspect of mystery is knowing when to step back and let others come to you. People value what they work for. If you're always available, always predictable, it's easy for others to take you for granted. By occasionally pulling back, whether it's taking time for yourself or simply letting conversations breathe, you give others the chance to miss you. And that space can create a longing that draws them closer. Embracing mystery also involves being comfortable with silence. In today's fast-paced world, silence can feel awkward, but it's incredibly powerful. Sometimes, the most intriguing moments happen in the pauses. When you're not rushing to fill every gap with words, you're giving people the space to reflect, to wonder, and to truly engage with you. Finally, Remember that mystery is a journey, not a destination. It's about continuously evolving, learning, and growing. When you're committed to personal growth, you naturally remain someone worth discovering over and over again. People will admire not just the mystery of who you are, but the authenticity and depth behind it. So, as we wrap up this idea, let me leave you with a question. What's one thing about you that you'd like people to discover slowly over time? Embracing mystery isn't about being perfect or aloof. It's about being authentically you while leaving space for curiosity. And in that space, true connection and admiration can grow. Thank you for joining me today on this journey into understanding the 7 acts that can transform relationships and draw others closer to you. Remember, the essence of true connection lies in balance, knowing when to share, when to hold back, and when to invest in yourself unapologetically. If this video resonated with you, let me know by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel for more insights on relationships, self-growth, and Stoic philosophy. Share this with someone who could use a reminder of their own power and worth in relationships. And before you go, drop a quick comment below. Just 3 words. I am enough. Let's affirm together that self-worth starts from within. Thank you again for being here. And until next time, take care, stay strong, and remember, you are deserving of love, respect, and the life you envision for yourself. See you soon.